7 tips on driving the Cades Cove Loop. The Cades Cove Loop is one of the most popular destinations in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park, and it's a great way to experience the beauty of the Great Smoky Mountains drive-thru style. But when it comes to navigating Cades Cove like a pro, there's a few things you should know before you go. Number 7. What is the best time to go see bears at Cades Cove? Cades Cove offers an excellent chance to spot wildlife in their natural environment. Bears, elk, deer, as well as raccoons, turkeys, and coyotes inhabit the mountains surrounding the valley. There's a chance you can see the wild animals any time of day in the park, but in the heat of the day, they tend to bed down and rest, and they're more active in the mornings and evenings. Number 6. How far is Cades Cove from Gatlinburg? There are 2 ways to get to Cades Cove, coming in from Gatlinburg or from the Townsend entrance. The Cades Cove Loop does not have an address per se, but Cades Cove can also be found by plugging in Cades Cove Loop Road into GPS or Google Maps. However, it is crucial to note that you will lose cell service on your way up the mountain. Consider printing or taking a screenshot of those directions and a good map before you leave town. Number 5. Can you picnic at Cades Cove? Cades Cove is a great place to have a picnic. There's a fantastic picnic area just outside the entrance of the park, with plenty of shade and a creek running along either side. But if you want the truly romantic Cades Cove experience, pack a picnic lunch, a blanket, pick a spot in the first half of the loop, and get out of the car. If you're a little shy, maybe hike a bit and pick a spot out of the line of sight of the passing motorists who will gawk. Let's face it, they're there to see the animals, and if the deer and the bear are in the hills, you're the next best thing they've got. Number 4. Is there cell service in Cades Cove? There is no cell service in Cades Cove, on the way to the cove or in the picnic area. In Cades Cove, your cell phone is nothing more than a camera, and possibly a device to entertain yourself in an inevitable traffic jam. Number 3. Is Cades Cove open at night? The loop closes at sundown, but a few lucky souls have experienced the cove at nightfall. If you're lucky enough to be there after nightfall, look up to see a great view of the night sky, unencumbered and filled with stars. Nearby, the Cades Cove Campground and Smokemont Campground are open year-round and require a reservation. Number 2. Are there shortcuts along Cades Cove Loop? There are 2 shortcuts along the loop. The first is only a mile or 2 in and cuts the 11-mile loop to 4 miles. Don't take that one unless you're hiking or biking or have decided that the full thing is just too much. The second shortcut, however, is a vital escape tool. There are 2 main factors to consider when assessing your need for the shortcut. First thing to consider, what do you want out of this trip? If it's sweeping views and majestic vistas, this shortcut might be for you. The first half of the loop is by far the more visually impressive. Second to consider is Cades Cove traffic. The Great Smoky Mountains National Park is one of the most visited tourist destinations in the world, and there are days when all the tourists decide it's a perfect day to drive the loop. We love the beauty and nature and all the cool things to see and do at Cades Cove, but when a line of brake lights stretching off into the distance like it's rush hour in Atlanta, it's time to cut the bait and get out. And finally, number 1, what are the best Cades Cove hiking trails? Abrams Falls is a 5-mile round trip hike. It's just hard enough to make it an accomplishment, and the reward is a beautiful waterfall and cold water to cool off. Longer hikes include Thunderhead Mountain and Rocky Top. Abrams Falls is the highlight of any trip to the cove, and it's one that can't be seen from the back seat of a Hyundai. What are your best tips for Cades Cove? Let us know in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss our next video from thesmokies.com.